What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, or should I say my fellow nerds? It is me, Jamoka from Sounds Nerdy, and once again, this is the Blip, the show in which I like to talk about news, highlights, and events from the past week in the world of tech and video games. As usual, I like to start things off with what I like to call the Tech 5, which is the top 5 stories from the past week, counting down to the number 1 topic, which will be the topic of the show. I will dive into that topic in a little more detail, followed by what's new in tech. If there's some new technology, new gadget, or anything out there, I'm going to cover it. It may not be new to some of you out there, but if it's new to me, I am going to cover it, so deal with it. And last but not least, what the hell? If there's something that's head scratching out there or some mind-boggling decision that was made by some tech company or person, I will get into that. Alright, and let's get things started off with number 5. This article is brought to you by the Business Insider. Amazon has a new section for Kickstarter products, and there are 5 worth buying. I'm not going to cover the 5, I'm just going to talk about the new section that Amazon has here. So we all know that Kickstarter is the place to go to find innovative outside of the box products. Unfortunately, it's also a place to find a lot of stuff that either doesn't turn out the way it was expected to, or it doesn't want to get released, or it doesn't get released at all. The problem with some Kickstarter projects is that after they've been fully funded and backers have received their products, they disappear. So in an effort to curb that, Amazon Launchpad has chosen to highlight some Kickstarter products that they feel are up to snuff in the new Made on Kickstarter section. So I actually love this idea. I think this is pretty cool by Amazon to actually show some of these products, because like the article says, once we hear about these products and they come to fruition, then we pretty much don't hear about them. So it just gives us a chance to go through and actually browse through some of these Kickstarter projects and see if anything jumps out at us, and go and support it, or buy those products. So I'm actually loving this. I think this is a good idea. Only thing, I wish Amazon would make this page more prominent on their front page, because I looked throughout their front page and I could not find it. So I'm gonna have to bookmark this, or you can actually just type in Kickstarter and I guess you will get there in their search engine. Alright, enough about that. Let's move on to the number 4 story. And this article is from hdreport.com. Vizio 4K TVs now support HDR or high dynamic range with a firmware update. Alright, the article goes on and says, Vizio 4K TVs will now support HDR after a firmware update have been issued for the P series and M series SmartCast UHD TVs. The updates include support for HDR content played through HD, Ultra HD Blu-ray disc players, and digital movie service Vudu. Now for the UHD Blu-ray players, right now there are 3 UHD Blu-ray players available, including the Philips, the Samsung, and the Xbox One S, which has just released shortly ago. All the players will support HDR, but the TV HDMI port must also be able to translate HDMI 2.0A. If you bought a TV in the last year and a half or so, more than likely it will have your 2.0A, so I wouldn't worry about that as long as your TV is newer. HDR version supported by the Vizio TVs used in conjunction with the HD Ultra Blu-ray players are HDR10, one of the 2 current standards in the industry right now. And the other current HDR standard is Dolby Vision, which has a higher color depth potential of 12 bits to 400 nits. To get the firmware upgrade, Vizio 4K TV owners just need to be connected to the internet to download it. Once the software is updated, users should enable HDR playback in several areas. So again, if you have a Vizio TV, you have a 4K TV, the update is out there. Go download it. Alright, and check that out. Alright, moving on to number 3. And this is Logitech's new Pop Home Switch simplifies smart home control. This article is brought to you by TechCrunch. Alright, Logitech has a new device called the Pop Home Switch. It's a bit different from their usual offerings. A company known for universal remotes entrusted with physical keys, touchscreen displays, and all manner of interaction options is instead going for a single button simplicity. Alright, the Pop is a brand button about the size of your palm, which connects to a hub that plugs directly into an outlet via Bluetooth LE. Using a companion app on either Android or iOS, you simply scan your Wi-Fi network for compatible devices, then tie those devices to one or more POP for simplified control and recipe creation. Individual POPs offer a big single button, but they can be programmed to do 3 different things simply by doing a single press, a double press, or a long press. Those will each trigger a different event. Part of why Logitech wanted to stick with a simple hardware solution was because of the growing app bloat associated with smart home control. Every time you add a new smart device from a different manufacturer, you basically have to add a new app to your collection. God knows we don't want to keep adding more apps to our cell phone. The Pop, of course, can be used by anyone, and they come in 4 different colors to help people keep track of which controls which actions. All right, and last but not least in here, both the Pop Home Switch Starter Pack and the Pop Standalone add-on units are set to go on sale in the US this month. That is August. The Starter Pack, which includes 2 Pops and a hub, retails for under $100, and additional Pops are $39.99 per unit. So not a bad price to get some sweet connectivity here and some more home automation. So that looks pretty sweet. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully one day I will be able to afford that and get that. So, all right, moving on to the number 2 story this week. Samsung teases Gear S3 launch in its IFA 2016 invitations. Alright, Samsung has recently sent out invites for its IFA 2016 event, teasing the launch of its next generation version of its Tizen powered Gear smartwatch, the Samsung Gear S3. The event in which Samsung will unlikely unveil the Gear S3 smartwatch is scheduled to be held on September 1st. So be on the lookout for that. I will be covering that. Hinting at the upcoming introduction of the Gear S3 smartwatch at the IFA event, the invitations for the event have watch hands all over them, indicating that the next Gear smartwatch will be officially announced by Samsung in nearly 3 weeks from now. So I'm looking forward to seeing this Gear with the Gear S3. It's about heard great things about the Gear S3. I know a couple people who actually own them and they love it. So I'm looking forward to see what they improve with the Gear S3. Here's some things that I am expecting from the Gear S3. It will have a round face, obviously. You know, that's a no-brainer. I'm expecting it to keep its navigation bezel, which is the bezel around the clock face, to be able to rotate. That's how you navigate. I'm expecting that to be there. I'm also expecting full Samsung Pay integration, so you should be able to use Samsung Pay with your watch, a la like the Apple Watch. So I'm looking forward to that. They may or may not have a bigger screen on there, but that could come in different variations of different watches that they may release. Rumor has it that they may release 3 different types of watches, so maybe one of those may have a bigger screen. And there's also expected to have GPS functionality in there. There's also rumors that it may have a barometer or a speedometer in there as well. We'll see about those 2 rumors as well. But looking forward to that event, and I can't wait to September 1st so we can see what this looks like. And the topic of the show this week is brought to you by the NashvilleChatterClass.com website. And this one is Google's Fusion OS to combine Android and Chrome OS into one. All right, let's dive into this topic. This has been an ambitious move by the company as it looks to take on the likes of Microsoft and Apple, all of which have a mobile and a PC OS. Microsoft has managed to bring a uniform experience between Windows 10 PCs and mobile phones, something that Google is reportedly looking to borrow a leaf from with the introduction of its new OS dubbed Fuchsia. According to the incoming reports, the new Fuchsia OS has a kernel known as Magenta that has been designed to work on practically all devices that are compatible, be it small embedded devices or a desktop. What else? Going on to the article, it is possible that the OS, which can work on a variety of devices, will come in to replace both Android and Chrome OS, but at the same time keeping the special features from both platforms. Still, it is possible that this could just be another Google side project that may never come to materialize, just like many other projects. I do expect this OS to come to light. I think it makes perfect sense. I think they need to actually start unifying their OS and start moving towards Microsoft, moving towards Apple's sort of ecosystem. I think it's a smart move. I actually like it. I can't wait to actually see more about it and hear more about it. Just a couple things about it. I hope that they, borrow some things from Microsoft, especially from their, universal Windows platform, in the fact that if they are able to implement some of those features, that the OS itself can scale from a small device such as a smartwatch all the way up to say like a TV or something, and also keep its unique features for each of those. So if you're familiar with the universal Windows platform, the OS itself or that platform has functionality that can be catered to each individual device platform without having to do any special coding or whatever. So if they can actually bring that features and bring that functionality to this future OS, I think that would be very smart by them, and I'm hoping that they do that. They said I think it's about time for this to happen for Google. They have the Android, which is obviously the most popular OS out there for your mobile phones or mobile devices out there, and they're looking to get into desktop. They have the Chromecast and everything. So if they have this one OS, that'll make it easier for not only for them for support, also for developers out there to actually get their apps across a range of devices. So easier coding, easier porting, easier support as well. So hoping that this does come to light, and I have no expected time frame. Hopefully in the next 6 months or so we get to hear something about this. So I'm actually looking forward to this. All right, what's new in tech? This week this is by techtimes.com. MIT unveils DuoSkin, temporary tattoos that function as an on-skin interface to interact with computer and mobile devices. Right, so MIT Media Lab, in partnership with Microsoft Research, has unveiled DuoSkin, a project that uses temporary tattoos as a connected interface that can be used in a variety of ways. DuoSkin, as described by MIT researchers on the project's dedicated page, is a fabrication process that allows the creation of a customized functional device that can be attached onto the user's skin. And right here, just give you a picture. This is what the tattoos will look like. You can see it is made of gold and silver. And more on that. The temporary tattoos using DuoSkin are made out of gold metal leaf, which is a cheap and skin-friendly material that can be used for everyday wear. That is the same material that can sometimes be seen on top of desserts, and it's being used for DuoSkin due to its low price and basic conductivity. So there are 3 ways the DuoSkin temporary tattoos can be used, specifically as an input interface and an output interface or a communication interface. As an input interface, the tattoos can be used to transform the wearer's skin into a trackpad or a slider to control connected mobile devices or computers. As an output interface, the tattoos are capable of bringing soft displays to the skin that can change color depending on the skin temperature. Pretty sweet. Lastly, a communication interface, the tattoos can contain data which can be detected by other devices using NFC wearable technology. So this sounds pretty cool. It looks, it looks exciting, and I understand uses for it. But the one scary thing I will say that this is one step away from being having devices embedded into your skin. It already happens, but this is just one more thing that's trying to get us more acclimatized to it. So just be on the lookout for that. All right. And what the hell this week? Verizon wants to dump even more bloatware onto your smartphone. Oh, Verizon. Verizon is one of the worst offenders, and now it looks like the company wants to pack even more bloatware onto your next smartphone. According to a report from Advertising Age, Verizon has been holding meetings with advertisers and big app developers about the possibility of shipping smartphones with their apps not just pre-installed devices, but positioned on the user's home screens. So the carrier reportedly began approaching companies late last year with this idea. While there's little question that this move would, impact their subscriber base in a negative way, it's also not a mystery why Verizon is eager to strike this deal. According to a report, Verizon is seeking between $1 and $2 per device. So you'll need to be a rocket scientist or a mathematician to figure out that equals millions and millions of dollars in revenue for the company. Unlike most of Verizon's own bloatware, the report notes that users would be able to uninstall the preloaded apps good thing here, that become part of this program. But that doesn't change the fact that the user's first experience with this device will be his or her smartphone might be involved with getting rid of a lot of that bloatware. So big no-no, or big shame to Verizon for trying to put even more bloatware on your smartphone. I wouldn't be a fan of this, and I'm not a Verizon subscriber, but I definitely would not want this. But like the article says, most of the Verizon people won't jump ship because of this. So whatever. All right, my fellow nerds, and that is all the news I have for you this week in the Blip. Once again, I want to thank you for taking the time to view this video. And if you like this video, please make sure you hit that like button. And while you're at it, subscribe to the channel. Help us grow. We're growing at a nice pace, but we need to grow faster, and we need your help for that. I have been Jamocha from Sounds Nerdy. You can follow me on Twitter at SNJamocha. Make sure you follow all of us on Sounds Nerdy on Twitter at Sounds Nerdy. Once again, until the next video, guys, stay nerdy.